the organization.
How much have you seen Mike Shanahan around the Niners when you are at Niner stuff?
I haven't seen him much.
Do you hear anything about Mike Shanahan's influence on the Niners?
No, well, I don't hear anything.
You hear what he does, though.
Yeah.
When the practice is over, the film goes straight to Mike Shanahan. He wants to see it right away.
Yeah.
He wants to hear what's going on in the meetings.
I always think a set of eyes like that, I would encourage it.
Right. The season tickets I have, Mike Shanahan sits in the suite directly to my right, and I see him back there. I always kind of peek to see what he's doing. I'm interested. I'm like, what is he doing? And he's just sitting there, but his wife is like 2 seats away from him. She's sitting right next to him. She sits a couple seats away. He's in his zone. He's in his zone. Breaks happen. He goes to the bathroom, whatever he does, gets some water, whatnot.
I mean, honestly, it would be a great little, not documentary because you don't need that much, but it would be great just to mic him up. And if he could just verbalize what he's seeing.
Love that.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be cool.
Great TV.
That would be awesome TV.
He would give you a layer and a perspective like Belichick's doing now that nobody else would understand or see.
I think Belichick is the most fascinating thing on television. I can't get enough of him. On McAfee, on NFL Films, when he has the 4 players all sitting there at the podium and he's breaking down plays. And again, Chad Johnson, yes, coach.
Yes, coach. Because he's always calling out Chad. He's like the bad student. Chad, you got that?
It's like they're in the classroom.
It's like Chad's not paying attention or whatnot. Mike, real quick, back on Mike. Just thinking about his Hall of Fame pedigree and whatnot. He's been through a lot. The Raiders situation with Al Davis. He got fired midway through the year. He's suing him for forever. But he also coached John Elway multiple times.
Yeah.
Steve Young had probably his best season of his career under Mike Shanahan.
He started with Spurrier at Florida.
I had no idea.
He goes all the way back to Spurrier at Florida. Shanahan. So, I mean, there was a connection to some great offensive minds before, he became, the guy that was. I mean, you can't connect Mike to anything he did without Alex Gibbs. Alex Gibbs was the offensive line coach. He was the genius in the run game. He's the one that taught the whole zone stretch thing. And I was around Alex. Alex came to Indianapolis, and he was just wired up differently. Like the way that he coached, I don't know if you could coach like that anymore. Like I don't know if you could scream and yell and be that hard on players like he was. But to watch him coach this zone offensive run game of his, like it was something else to just watch.
I miss coaching like that. You were talking about this earlier, Shasky. Leadership, there's different ways to lead or whatnot. And I just saw a clip with Greg Olson. Matter of fact, this morning, I was watching it before I got in. And Greg Olson was talking about, it's so easy on these kids today, this generation. At some point, you're going to have to meet hard. You're going to have to face hard. You're going to have to face adversity. You're going to have to get through it. We're too soft on these and these kids and these players, and there's a time and place for it.
Because if you coach them too hard or you don't play them or they're not playing the position that they desire, they hit the transfer portal, quote unquote, and go to a different program, go to a different school.
Sweet.
Yeah, I know it is. There's no
soft.
adversity facing. And the part that frustrates me, and you're bringing it up right now, but like Pete Rose, bad human being away from the game, but he had a great point. There's 3 ways to coach someone. Leave them completely alone, kick them in the pants, put your arm around them. And it depends on who the individual is and who you are as a person to figure out how to tap into that kid.
I remember, I'll tell you a story. I remember Parcells was just famous for being able to just tweak different players. So, he's got the Giants, they just won a Super Bowl. It's 86. Pepper Johnson, inside linebacker, LT, Carl Banks, whole group.
Such a loaded team.
Leonard Pepper Johnson was like basically taking over for Harry Carson as the inside linebacker, right? And he was really morphing into a great player. So he's like in his second or third year. So Pepper is like privately whining to players about Parcells never gives him any pub, never says anything good about him, nothing, right? So it gets back to Parcells that Pepper's upset, that it's all LT, it's all Carl, it's all this stuff, right? So Parcells walks into a special teams meeting, and Pepper is the wingman on the extra point field goal team. And Parcells rarely came into the special teams meeting, right? He's got other things to do. So he comes into this meeting, he goes, hey, I just want everybody to watch even when call him by his name. I want everybody to watch number 52 over here. Just on the stance. Let's just watch the stance of 52. Like he's in a good, look at the knee bend. Look at the angle of his back right here. And now watch how he steps inside and he steps back. So he just blows up Pepper on the extra point.
That is hilarious.
He walks out. And Pepper's like this. Like he's just cringing. He wants Parcells so bad to get into his corner. And he's just cringing, going, "Why do I say these things?"
I miss Parcells, man. He had that famous clip where LT said, "Hey, we're playing the Rams," and I think it was either Rams or Saints. He's talking about a right tackle. It's like, this guy, you never penetrate against this guy. I'm gonna trade for somebody else. Send him here, and I'll trade back for you or something like that to motivate LT. And he has like this monster night on Monday Night Football. Parcells was ahead of his time. Could he coach in today's game?
It'd be hard. He coached the coaches harder than he coached the players.
That was
the coaches had to take it.
Yeah.
Like when he was in Dallas, like every team's got 3 fields, indoor facility, the whole thing. When he was at Dallas, like he the whole team practiced on one field that day, and he would stand in the middle so he could see all the coaches. The thing wasn't spread out all over the place. He wanted to see, what all his assistant coaches were doing at the time. But oh my gosh, that guy, the stories are so good. To this day, I remember you could call Bill Parcells right now, and I had this guy, I was an outside linebacker for him, blanking right
for the
now.
Giants?
Yeah, for the Giants, number 10. Oh shoot, I'll get to it. It's okay.
Spinotti's going to look for it.
Yeah, no, but everywhere he goes, they're still talking about him. Like in Dallas with the Jets, like he left an imprint in the building everywhere he went. They're still talking about the story.
All right, so let me ask you this one: with the modern coaches, you are starting a franchise from scratch, and an owner comes to you and says, "Brian Baldinger, you're my new GM. Who are you hiring as your head coach?"
Wow, I'd probably say McVay.
Really?
Probably take Sean McVay because he coached. Like, there's a reason why literally everybody that's getting hired right now is from his tree. Is from his, not necessarily Kyle's, although Saleh and D'Amico. But like his ability to coach the coaches on what he wants, offense and defense. Brandon Staley, whatever. Raheem Morris, all these guys.
Zach Robinson's down there.
He recognizes leadership, but that guy's command of everything is, I have never seen anything like it. Like it's really good.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
that is incredible.
Who would you take?
McVay's a good one. I have to go Andy. I'm sorry, I have to go Andy.
Yeah, I don't want to overlook Andy.
Look, like Andy Reid, as we study the Chiefs this week, and we've seen Andy Reid at 2 Super Bowls. We see him come to Levi Stadium. We know the bike. Hell, I remember they came to Monday Night Football. Shaska, you're probably at this game at Candlestick Park. Niners were wearing throwback jerseys, Jeff Garcia, T.O., and they were starting either A.J. Feely or Ty Dip or something. McNabb was out. And it was like, oh, this is a gimme game. Yeah. Eagles are beat up. And they went in and rolled the 49ers. Just rolled them. I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is going on here? And it's Andy Reid because of the way he has evolved with the game. There's a lot of knocks on Belichick saying he didn't evolve with the times. Yeah. Well, Andy Reid goes from traditional West Coast, no shotgun, that we're running motions all over the place. We look like the spread formation, Oregon Ducks with Marcus Mariota. He's evolved with the times, and the players still love him. Coaches still love him. And his offense respect is crazy. And then you look at the record, how can you not go Andy Reid?
Let me throw a couple other those obviously great names. Like, he doesn't have a Super Bowl. I'm really impressed with LaFleur, and I was very doubtful a couple years ago, but what he's done with different weapons and different quarterbacks.
Malik Willis this year.
And then hiring the Boston College guy has changed their defense.
Like, they lead the league in takeaways, and he wanted more takeaways. So Xavier McKinney leads the league in interceptions. He wanted a safety that could rob the middle of the field and take the ball away. He wanted to press corners, like you look at Jair out there right now and Stokes, like they're pressing. They wanted a 4-man rush. He wanted more takeaways, and he went and got Heffley, and look what he's doing.
And then let me throw another name, like Jim Harbaugh. Everywhere he goes, the guy just turns things around.
Like Denver had won 3 in a row, and they wiped Denver up last week.
Oh, dude.
And they took this Scott Matlock. He was a defensive lineman. Like, now he's like their Patrick Ricard. He's 315 pounds. Like, and what it's doing, like I was talking to Daniel Jeremiah this week about it, but like it's what Harbaugh and what the Harbaughs are doing with Ricard and Matlock, it's going to force every single scout in America to start looking at backup defensive linemen to see if they can play that role.
Well, he did that with Bruce Miller when he was here. He turned a defensive end, Bruce Miller, at UCF.
Yeah, University of Central Florida.
He knew a fullback, and he was he had some issues off the field. Yeah. But until that, he was a very good, productive player for them. Yeah. And I think they had Isaac Sopoaga also in the back.
Isaac did that a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but not to
or
what
something
they're
like
doing
that.
now.
Who was it? Will Tukuafu, I'm going to say.
Tukuafu was the name.
He was another guy, too.
Phenomenal knowledge.
It's a sickness, Baldy. We got a sickness
here.
We're
sick.
But even John Harbaugh. Like, we don't even say anything about John Harbaugh.
He hires great coordinators.
And he puts his players in positions. Like,
right now, Lamar is playing better than he's ever played.
I agree.
Last week's game, he might have missed a throw. He never missed one read. His reads were, I don't know how Lamar's doing it, because he did the same thing the week before against Cincinnati. And then he's not a guy that really celebrates, unless it's like Mark Andrews caught a touchdown pass for the first time. And that was his guy for a long time, and he had the injury. And now, like, he celebrated with Mark, but he literally walks. He never looks at any video. He doesn't really talk. He just goes over there and sits in his own, Lamar. It's kind of, it's bizarre, but that guy is so locked in. Like, he's going to win another MVP.
I think the Ravens are the team to beat right now. I mean, Kansas City's undefeated.
Defensively, they're not very good.
Yeah,
so they got to catch up.
Kyle Hamilton might be. I saw him at Notre Dame. I told B about it.
He was good.
Kyle Hamilton is a superstar.
No,
I didn't know it would be this in the NFL.
We saw him at Levi Stadium.
Ridiculous.
I mean, we saw him at Levi Stadium. It was a nightmare.
He's 23.
He's everywhere. And I mean, even like in the AFC Championship game where Kelsey catches that touchdown pass, like the throw and the catch are so perfect.
Yep.
But Kyle can't cover it any better. And I don't know how the ball fell into Kelsey's hands.
We got time to squeeze in one call here. Injury report. All right. Oreo Cookie and Verducci will get you top of the hour. Verducci, Oreo Cookie, we get you top of the hour. Anybody else? 888-957-9570. We're having some fun as we break down Chiefs and Niners. And we're just talking ball. We're just having fun.
I want to get into Shanahan and Andy Reid and Belichick's coaching trees and Walsh and stuff, and just kind of examine what makes good coaches and what doesn't.
Yeah, the coaching trees are very impressive. Andy Reid's impressive. They're all impressive. We'll get into that as well here. But first, we have the injury report. So this is tough here. Kawhi Leonard, who was one of the better two-way players in the game, just signed a massive extension with the LA Clippers. What was it, 3 years, $153 million. He's been rolled out indefinitely to start this season as he continues to rehab from lingering knee issues that prevented him from playing for Team USA in Paris. He got sent home in Las Vegas. And so Kawhi and the Clippers, as they open up a new stadium, the Intuit Dome, Kawhi's going to be out for a while. That's a big blow for the LA Clippers, who also lost Paul George in the offseason. The injury report brought to you by our great friends at Boxer & Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. Shout out to Hillary, who's expecting any minute now. She's probably not too happy after the Raiders traded Devontae Adams, and they're a mess right now. There's no doubt about that. What's coming up in the game brought to you by Fremont Bank, celebrating 60 years of full-service banking with no compromises. Your phone calls will get to Belichick, Reid, Walsh, coaching tree, Chiefs, Niners, all that stuff. Plus, we got Jack's Breakfast coming in 20 minutes here. We're about to chow down in about half an hour here on the Morning Roast.